To days of unrest in the southern city of Daraa, where security forces opened fire on anti-government demonstrators yesterday. Witnesses say dozens of people were killed. The Syrian government put the figure at 10. The pressure on the Portuguese economy has intensified today. The country's credit rating was downgraded by one leading agency. EU leaders at a summit in Brussels today have been discussing the political crisis in Portugal. The likelihood of an international financial bailout increased following yesterday's resignation of the country's Prime Minister. Some of Britain's leading theatres, museums and galleries grappling with the impact of big government spending cuts received some welcome news today. The leading philanthropist, Dame Vivienne Duffield, announced she was giving more than £8 million to fund a series of learning centres for children. As our arts editor Will Gompertz reports, the gift comes as the government's arts education budget is being cut by tens of millions of pounds.
My dearest father!
The Tempest.
Yeah.
Being taught in a workshop at the Royal Shakespeare Company. The children are from the Blue Coat Comprehensive School in Warsaw. The session has been paid for by Dame Vivienne Duffield and is part of her £8 million plus donation announced today. She thinks educating children about the arts is pretty important.
If you're going to diversify the public and bring the arts to more people, the only way you're going to do that is by bringing the children in and by educating the children about what it is and taking the mystique out of all these things.
It is a generous gift and much needed. Recent government cuts have led to £50 million being taken out of arts education, with two schemes designed specifically for school children being forced to close altogether.
Such as this one at the Jarrow School in South Tyneside. It's part of a project called Find Your Talent, where arts superstars like choreographer Wayne McGregor go into schools and put the pupils through their paces.
With him, you had the confidence to dance in front of a proper audience.
Yeah, he didn't make you feel afraid of dancing.
He just made you feel comfortable. Yeah.
Everybody now wants to be involved in projects. Everybody's asking me, sort of at lunchtimes and things, are we going to do more of this?
No is the short answer, until they can replace the public subsidy that's been cut. The man who ran the project is concerned.
Without this network in place and this kind of funding, then the key rungs in the ladder by which a young person comes to understand and value the arts will have been removed. Children from better off backgrounds are still going to have access to these opportunities, and that will disadvantage young people from the poorer backgrounds. And I don't see why they should be bearing the brunt of these cuts.
What I'm very focused on as the Culture Minister is to give kids great cultural opportunities. And I think that is absolutely possible, but I think we have to examine it, we have to review what's out there, and we have to put in place a clear and coherent strategy to make it happen.
It's quite clear that the children want more of these sort of projects. The question is, will they have to wait for a philanthropist to pay for them? Will Gompertz, BBC News, South Tyneside.
A quick update for you. NATO ambassadors have just decided a few minutes ago that they should take control of the no-fly zone over Libya, and that will take effect in the coming day or so. More on that on the BBC News channel, but now it's time to join our news teams where you are. Have a good night.
Hello, I'm Amelia Reynolds with the Look East Late News. First tonight, it's the end of the line for National Express East Anglia. The rail firm is to lose virtually all the services it runs across the region. It was competing to win the next franchise to operate the routes, but was told by the government today it hadn't made the shortlist. Kevin Birch reports.
National Express East Anglia said tonight it's disappointed by this decision and wants someone in government to explain their thinking. This franchise includes the main line in and out of Liverpool Street. It's been run by National Express since 2004. Punctuality's gone up a bit in that time, but criticisms remain. This was how commuters in Chelmsford reacted tonight to today's news.
Most people should get a better service than standing up, crowded together, and it should be on time at least.
It's a lottery. Like, some days you come in, it'll be fine, some days they won't.
Overcrowded, not very comfortable, overpriced. So I hope whoever replaces them does a better job.
Well, the problems for National Express appear to have started about 16 months ago. That was when it walked away from a separate franchise for the East Coast Line, claiming it was facing heavy losses. Now, National Express will still operate its franchise for the C2C line, but no sympathy tonight from Bob Crow of the RMT Union. He said, "We welcome the fact that National Express are off the tracks in East Anglia. But whoever the winners are from these latest beauty contests, it certainly won't be the travelling public." Kevin Birch, BBC Look East in Ipswich.
Scientists at the University of East Anglia have made a breakthrough in the treatment of skin cancer. They've discovered that a drug commonly used to treat rheumatoid arthritis also inhibits the growth of malignant melanoma. It could be on the market within 3 years.
Every year, skin cancer kills 2,000 people in this country. Janet Pearce knows that she will probably be one of them.
When I went to the consultant and he advised me I'd probably got 3 to 6 months to live, it's earth-shattering. You can't take it in. It's quite surreal, really.
From a small mole on her lower leg, the melanoma has spread throughout her body. Her best hope has been chemotherapy. That's slowed it down, but it hasn't stopped it. But here at the University of East Anglia, a scientific breakthrough could provide a treatment that will. The key has been these tadpoles and their pigment cells, cells that can mutate into skin cancer, just as they can in humans.
What we did was we looked for compounds that would affect the pattern of the pigment cells in the tadpoles. So this would suggest then that the compound is actually affecting the development of the pigment cells. And then we tested them on human melanoma cell lines to see if they could affect the growth of the human melanoma cells. And one compound in particular did this.
That compound is a drug commonly used to treat rheumatoid arthritis. Because it's already been licensed, that means clinical trials could start within months. For Janet and thousands of others like her, this discovery has given them hope. Clive Lewis, BBC Look East, Norwich.
11 fire crews are tackling a fire at a thatched cottage in Essex tonight. The property is in Church Street in Gestingthorpe near Halstead. 3/4 of the roof is alight, but no one has been injured. The navigator from a tornado based at RAF Marham in Norfolk has been speaking about his part in the first attack over Libya. The jets have been involved in raids and reconnaissance for the last 5 nights in support of a no-fly zone.
When I'm overhead a target, I can see not only the vehicle, but I can see civilians. I can see what they're doing. I can tell what their pattern of behaviour is. We have now got the flexibility to take our whole range of tactics we can use and pick and choose how we wish to employ them.
Lecturers from universities across the region have gone out on strike today. Members of the University and College Union are involved in a dispute over the future of their pensions. The campuses hit include those in Norwich and Colchester. Part of a town centre in Essex was sealed off this afternoon because of a big gas leak. The high street in Billericay was closed when gas started pouring from a shop. 3 buildings had to be evacuated. The Science Minister, David Willetts, has visited the 2 science parks which are benefiting from a total of £70 million announced in yesterday's budget. Mr Willetts was at the Norwich Research Park this morning before going on to the Babraham Research Campus near Cambridge.
I'm absolutely confident it's because we've got first-rate science in places like Norwich and Cambridge that then down the track we see businesses that successfully draw on the ideas that the researchers have developed and turn them into commercial propositions.
There are high hopes for the tourist season this year, with the early spring weather giving us all a boost. Of course, it's big business for us, putting £5 billion into the economy of the region every year. And this year could be even better. Up to 1/3 more foreign visitors are coming to Britain because of huge interest in the royal wedding. And the Broads have just been named as one of the 4 tourism hotspots in the UK, getting extra money for advertising and promotion.
Early morning in Great Yarmouth, and beneath a clear blue sky, it was looking its very best. Merivale Model Village reopens for the new season on Saturday. Peter Williamson bought it 7 years ago and has since invested £500,000. Visitor numbers have soared to almost 50,000 a year.
I love what I do. We've got new models here. It's our 50th anniversary year. Yarmouth's now back on the map, and so's Merivale.
And with that wedding on the way, Merivale's Royal Exhibition, complete with a huge model of Buckingham Palace, is expected to be extremely popular. The wedding of William and Kate has to be good news for visitor numbers here at Sandringham. The family weren't in residence today, so we had the 60 acres of gardens all to ourselves before they reopen to the public on the 1st of April.
It is one of our busier times. Obviously, everything starts to come to life in the spring, and yeah, we find plenty to do. We're just about to set forth on the grass cutting, and that will keep us busy then for the rest of the summer, I'm sure.
At the 30-acre Cliff House holiday park at Dunwich in Suffolk, they're already fully booked for the Easter bank holiday.
With the Euro still being very strong, there's a lot of people still wanting to actually stay in the UK and holiday in the UK.
And there's been good news for the profile of the Broads. The area has been selected for special promotion by Visit England to boost its international reputation as a great holiday spot. Kim Riley, BBC Look East.
Well, let's take a look at the weather forecast and whether the sunshine will last. Tonight will be dry with patchy mist and a low of 2 degrees. Tomorrow will be cloudier than today, but it will stay dry and there will be some sunshine, feeling warm again with a top temperature of 15 degrees. And if we take a look at the outlook, well, dry with the chance of the odd spot of rain on Saturday, patchy cloud and sunny spells on Sunday. The same goes for Monday. That's all from the Late Team. Newsnight starting over on 2. Good night.
Good evening. Today was a remarkable day. It's not very often that Manchester is the warmest place in the country. Well, today, not only was it top of the shop back home, but it was a good deal warmer than the south of Spain, just 15 degrees in Ibiza, cold, wet and windy. Yes, this amazing spell of spring weather continues. Mind you, overnight it turns quite cold. That's the case at the moment. It is chilly out there. 1 or 2 fog patches already across Northern Ireland. A few forming elsewhere and quite a lot of cloud across the north of Scotland. But for most of us, a clear, cold night. Towns and cities 2 to 6. In rural areas as low as -1. So a touch of frost. But tomorrow again will be a beauty in most places. There will be some exceptions, as we'll see in a moment. Certainly the bulk of England and Wales are set to have another fantastic day. The mist will soon clear and the temperatures will rise very quickly indeed. But you'll notice across parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland there will be rather more cloud around, and that'll have a knock-on effect on the temperatures for sure. So the best of the temperatures and the best of the sunshine will be further south, and certainly down across the southeast of England. Inland we'll get up into the high teens, and to the west of London 18, 19 degrees quite possible. And the winds won't be as gusty along the south coast as they were today, so if anything it'll feel a little bit warmer. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, plenty of sunshine through Wales, a little bit of fair weather cloud up over the high ground, but it's going to be a fine day. Another good one in Manchester. Across the Irish Sea though, there'll be a little bit more in the way of mist and murk, and certainly more cloud than today across Northern Ireland, and just 10 degrees along the north coast. Cooler certainly for Scotland than we've seen. A lot of cloud around and some showery bursts getting into Aberdeenshire, for example. Just 9 degrees here, 10 in Newcastle. So there's cool and cloudy weather just seeping a little bit further down the North Sea coast. All tied in with the weather front. It's a cold front. Now ahead of that, we keep the warm air going across some southwestern parts of the UK on Saturday. But behind that front, the blue colours indicate much cooler conditions, colder conditions in actual fact. It's going to be a real shock to the system across the northeastern half of the UK on Saturday. Some places 10 degrees cooler than they were earlier on in the week. So 6, 7, 8 will be fairly typical. A lot of cloud, 1 or 2 showers. There's still some mild air hanging on across the southwest, but even here it won't be as warm as it has been. On Sunday, after a touch of frost in some places, many places will be dry, so it's not all gloom and doom, just the odd shower, some sunshine, but temperatures much lower than they have been.